The only thing that will ever stop you from building and scaling the business of your dreams is you. Now, if that really resonated with you, I'm very excited because my guest and I are talking about that and so much more. Welcome back. If you're new here, I bring in experts in the marketing area to help you market your business effectively and simply, but also by taking action. If that sounds like something that you are interested in, then definitely subscribe so that you're notified every time we release a new video or a new podcast. Today, I am super excited to be chatting with M. Ducharme. She is a business strategist for influencers and experts who are looking to monetize and scale their audience through digital marketing and passive income. Her work has been featured on major media outlets such as Forbes and Thrive Global and the Good Men Project and Business to Community. As a former corporate sales consultant for Fortune 500 companies, major corporations, M has helped to grow and scale businesses for the last 10 years in various sectors. She has raised millions of dollars in investor funds for the companies that she's worked for, and personally was able to scale her own companies, and that's companies with an S, past multiple 6- and 7-figure marks in record-breaking time. So welcome, M. I'm like super excited to get into these questions with you.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, of course. So I always like to start off first with a how you got here question. So tell me a little bit about your business and basically like how you arrived to the business that you have today.
It's very hard to say it in a nutshell, so I'm going to try to make it very quick. But when I was 20 years old, I started my first business. I'm 33 now. And it was a restaurant. And 2 weeks after opening the first restaurant, my mother gave me a call and she told me she had 6 months left to live. She just had a cancer diagnosis. So it changed my entire life because, first of all, I was living 8 hours drive away from her, which was not sustainable. Like, especially when you have a restaurant and a brand new one, you have to sleep in the restaurant. So that's when I decided to find an alternative on what I could do to make money while I could nurse her and work from home. So I started my marketing journey then. And it's been years of errors and trials and successes and sabotage and all kinds of things that like we can dive in a little bit deeper later. But basically now I own multiple businesses. I have an e-commerce, I have a coaching business, and I have other investments in building my portfolio of companies. So one of my dreams was to be a little bit like a Shark Tank and be able to participate financially and with my expertise and network into companies. So this is what I'm focusing on right now, but it's been a long journey to get here.
You know, it's funny because all of my guests sort of react the same because it's always a windy route to get to where you are today. And chances are your business won't look today like it does today in 5 years from now, right? You could be doing something totally different. It is a normal sort of process through the life of your business to change things and to pivot and things like that. We'll be diving in a little bit of that later on, but let's go ahead and start with that catchy title. Talk to us about how we may be stopping ourselves from building and scaling the business of our dreams.
So for me, what I've realized when my mother passed away, I lost everything. I had to file for bankruptcy. My boyfriend got murdered 10 days later. I lost literally everything. I went from having a car of the year, a brand new condo, a credit card that had like almost no limit on, and having a restaurant, and I was young and I was really, really solid, and then I lost everything. So every time I rebuilt something, I knew how to do it. I knew how to build businesses. That was something that was very easy for me. But what was also easy for me is to sabotage everything and let it burn to the ground. And it took me many, 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 many years before I realized that the reason why I was doing that, it's because I was so scared of having something to lose that I was making sure I had never anything to lose. I was making sure that I had like my own, it's a little bit like in a relationship when you've been hurt before and then you meet your dream man or your dream woman, and you're at first it's like, oh my God, I'm in love. And then when it starts getting really serious, you're so scared of losing the person that you're going to make the breakup happen, just because then you're protecting yourself from failing and you don't want to experience the loss again. So you're making sure you're creating it so that you are in control. So when I realized that, I was like, this is why I'm very successful, but I'm always in a feast or famine type of way. Like I would make a lot of money and then no money for months and months. I would create a very fast success and then it would crumble. Like I kept being up and down and up and down. And when I realized that I was the reason why, I was in between me and my success. I was not scaling my businesses, even though they were genius ideas, because I was so scared of building it and losing it again. So I had to shift the way I was looking at success, and I had to decide that first of all, if it happens, I know I can survive it because I've done it for one time. I've survived losing everything. So if it happens again, I can survive it again. And then it happened a second time when I was working in finance. I had I grew so fast the ladder in the financial industry. Anytime I put my head into something, I make like home runs. Like I'm really, really good at going fast. So I invested into Bitcoin in 2012 when it was like $300. I was so set again. And once again, I lost everything. All kinds of things happened and I let everything drift away from me. So when I realized that pattern after losing everything twice, and I decided that I would never once again build something out of fear and sabotage it out of fear, but I would build it from my heart. I would build it from my passion and from the confidence that I can survive anything. So it doesn't matter what happens as long as I still show up every day and I never give up on what I'm building. And now I built my business in a way that I could retire tomorrow and I would be living a good life, and I have enough income streams that supports me. I have built a personal brand that supports me. I could literally just stop taking clients tomorrow and be good for the rest of my life. So I did that because I really focused on building and not being scared of losing everything. And every time something bad happens, I am not dropping my business, which is what I used to do. Every time something bad would happen, I would lose everything because I would drop it. And I don't drop the things. I hold what's hard along with my success. And that's changed everything for me.
Amazing. I first want to thank you for being so gracious in sharing that, because I think there's a theme on my YouTube channel and podcast of really sharing, what people might say are failures, which I personally believe are the catalyst to growth. Like if things don't fall apart, then you don't really know how to rebuild them, and the fear will get in your way every single time. So I imagine going through that process over the years has really represented itself in your business. So what are your main focuses in business right now?
So one thing that I've discovered while I was rebuilding once again is that I used to build from a very masculine standpoint. I was trying to build a business like a man because that's what I knew. And I realized that as women, we don't build the same way. We build from our heart, from our intuition. And this is why now in my brand, I'm really focused on teaching business energetics, because it is important to learn how to operate and lead in feminine energy as well as driving in masculine energy. And they are both needed. And a lot of women don't know this. So they build in masculine energy and then they get burnt out, or they're tired, or they do things that don't actually makes their heart sing, and they're not happy with what they're doing. And then they wake up one day, they have a lot of money, they build something solid, but they don't even want to keep it because that was never aligned to begin with. So business energetics is one of the things. The second thing is I've created, after learning about energetics, I've created something I called feminine funnels, which I'm trademarking now. And the feminine funnels is my version of funnels. I used to be a funnel strategist, so funnels were really big for me. But when I learned about feminine energy into business, it was really disconnected from what I knew now. I didn't want to manipulate people to buy my things. I didn't want to make money just to make money. I wanted it to be because it was aligned with the buyer. So what I did is I recreated my own version and my own vision for funnels, which I called feminine funnels. And it's really selling with the heart, and it's not selling with marketing strategies that are manipulative and that are trying to get people scared or ashamed or guilty for not buying. I really want people to buy from an empowered place, even if it's coming from an automation into my business. So feminine funnels is really big. And then we're focusing on scaling strategies, mostly using alternative marketing strategies. So being on podcast is really a good idea when you want to grow your brand, because you are sharing an audience with someone that's already built their audience, and you're sharing your knowledge, and everyone is winning. So as long as everyone wins, for me, this is aligned with my feminine energy. So I'm doing scaling strategies that are aligned with the energetics that I want to bring to my business. So those are the three main focus that I have.
Okay, so we're going to dive into all three because I am just really inspired and eager to know a little bit more, as I'm sure our listeners do. So, talk about business energetics, sort of. You talked a little bit about kind of what it is. Talk about some ways that people can use it to implement that in their business.
So when I say business energetics, what I mean is to have a balance into your feminine and your masculine energy. So your feminine energy is the fuel that you put in your car, and your car is the masculine energy. They go hand in hand. If you don't refuel the car is going to break down on the highway. But then if you only have fuel, you're not going anywhere because there's no vehicle that's going to bring you somewhere. So that's the best way to explain it with an analogy. So what I mean by this is, in order for me to run my business and be happy and be aligned, I must have a nervous system that's regulated. I must be happy. I must take aligned actions. I must surrender and trust into the work that I'm doing. So a good example of energetics not being balanced is like, for example, you're preparing a launch for something, and then you can't stop looking in your inbox to see if someone bought. If nobody buys on the first day, you're freaking out. Your launch is a failure, even though there's still 4 weeks to go. That's an example of not being balanced. When you're balanced, you can launch things and it doesn't feel like it's a different day. Like when I launch something, when I promote something, it feels the same as when I don't, because my energetics are really balanced. I trust that every single day, no matter what I do in my business, is part of growing and improving my business. So it's not about all putting all my energy into launching and promotion. It's not all putting my energy into selling and marketing. It's just to continue walking every single day towards my visions and my goals, while regulating my nervous system, while taking time with the people that I love, while taking time to take care of myself, while celebrating what I'm doing. So if you're just in your feminine energy, then you don't work. So if you don't work, nothing happens. That's why it's really important to have it balanced. But for me, what it means, like, for example, on Mondays, I work on business strategy. I work on my team leadership. I work on my money and my finance and all these things. And then once I'm done with this, I turn off my computer and my brain is checked out. I don't just think about like, oh, tomorrow I have to do something. And I can actually be someone outside of my business. And that's something that's very difficult for people to do. they carry their workload everywhere they go. So energetics means you can have a balance between the two. So that's what it means.
That is really good. I think an example for me in this is I take every Tuesday to spend with my daughters and my granddaughter. And I had a real hard time not looking at my phone, my cell phone, not thinking about business. And now, after a couple months, I've figured out that if I do certain things on Monday, then like you said, you can close your laptop and turn off. And then I'm spending my whole day on the floor playing with my granddaughter and gossiping with my daughters, right? It is a way to make sure that I can check out by setting up that day before and getting that work that needs to be done. So
Yeah.
that's just brilliant. We'll be diving in a little bit more on the type of services that M offers, so that if you're like really vibing on what we're talking about, and the way that she's presenting it, there are ways that you can work with her. So next, let's go ahead and dive a little bit deeper into feminine funnels. I know that you're trademarking it. And by the time this airs, it's probably going to be trademarked. So don't think you're going to go take it and run with it. However, give me sort of an understanding of how you arrived at feminine funnels working for you, and how somebody can use feminine funnels to better their business.
Yeah. So basically, launching every month is going to create a lot of instant gratification because it creates instant money, but it doesn't create sustainability and consistency into your business. So for me, it was really obvious from the beginning. If I'm building something, it's a digital asset. If it's staying in my computer after I run a course on certain thing and I don't, like, once it's done and run, nothing happens with it. It's like having gold in my closet that I don't do anything with, but I could use to make money with. So it's a little bit like, I used to be in finance, and you always think about how to make the most money with what you have and with your asset and blah, blah, blah. So I kind of apply that logic into my business. And then when I build a course, there's always a logic behind it. There's always a strategy for long-term behind it. When I launch a free masterclass or a paid event, there's always a repurposing idea behind it. So sometimes it looks like I'm just launching things, but it's not true. It's because I'm adding pieces to my funnels. And since I need to do something for a funnel, then might as well do the live event for it instead of just recording it and no one else get to benefit from it. So for me to create the feminine funnels was a way that I can do whatever I want. I know that every month I have money coming in. I know that if I take time off, there's people can still serve themselves into my business. They can come shop into my business through funnels. So that's a very sustainable way of doing business, but also using the work that you've done. Like, we work so hard at creating. Why are we not doing anything about it?
Repurposing is a big topic here. For sure. I am obsessed with it. I'm like, put your heart and soul into one piece of content each week, but share it a billion places, and places like you're talking about that can automatically feed in years down the road. I focus on Pinterest marketing, and that is an amazing way to have constant people going into your funnels.
For traffic, it's amazing. I love Pinterest.
My favorite. That's actually my business, but I like to bring everyone in marketing in here so we can take little pieces of everything. So in terms of scaling your business, like, what are some mistakes that you see people making, and what are one or two things that you can sort of, focus on maybe to not have those mistakes happen?
One of the main thing that comes up when you ask me the mistakes is people, they think it's a badge of honor to not have a team, to not have sales page, to not have funnels, and to still be successful. But on the other side of it, you don't see that people are scared every month because they don't know if they're going to make money or not. If they're sick, everything stops because their life energy is what brings money in. If they are overwhelmed with something or something happens and they have less time, then their clients are suffering because they don't have anyone to help and fulfill the task. So building a team is really important. And now a mistake that I see people doing when they're trying to build a team is they're trying to hire one person that's going to do everything. And the problem
Sorry, that just hit home. I discovered that this time last year. Now I have a team, but I can't imagine. You're so right. It is not a badge of honor. It is not an effective way of running a business.
Yeah. And it's the same way that people, I don't run ads. I don't run ads right now, but it's not a badge of honor. It's amazing to know how to convert content organically. And I truly believe you need to learn how to convert organically before pushing paid traffic. Otherwise, you're testing with your money instead of testing organically. Very smart. But it's not, if you have a winning formula, why don't you want more people to have their hands on it? I don't understand. It's not a badge of honor not to do ads as well, just as a FYI.
that is perfect. Tell me 3 things that I love to ask this of everyone because I think it's sort of illuminating.
Yeah.
What 3 things have helped you to grow your business? And this could be tools, this could be advice, this could be whatever.
So the first thing that I would say was I always invested in myself outside of where I was, like investment that stretched myself. And a lot of times we invest what we can afford, but then if we can afford it, it means it's not really a stretch. So that means we probably are not going to really see a difference because we're already kind of there. If you want to quantum leap, like people call, if you want to go really fast and jump timelines, then investing outside of your comfort zone is where the growth is going to be. So for me, that's always been the case. I have period in my business in my life that I don't invest into myself or my business. I invest into my lifestyle. And I think this is also super important because what's the point of building this if we're always chasing the growth? It's amazing I took 6 months of investing into my business, just running it as is. And I invested in my lifestyle. I went to Andrea Bocelli's house. I went to Italy for an amazing trip. I went to
Italy.
I did hair balloons, right? Like it was amazing. I got myself a Porsche. Like I invested in my lifestyle because I want to enjoy what I built. But now I got back to home from my trip and I'm investing into my business again. I reinvested into mentors that were really stretching me, like 5 figures months investments. So I'm being stretched. But that's why I grow so fast is because I invest out of my comfort zone, but I also take time to work on appreciating and celebrating what I do. So that would be the first thing. The second thing, like I said, to build a team and to build a team in a way that everyone is going to have their zone of genius covered and building that company culture. My team members never leave one day without saying, I love you, Em. Every single day, they have to tell, like, it doesn't exist in my life that they don't tell me I love you. I made their life too good to be true because too good to be true is the standard that I live my life on. And that's what I offer to them. And I spoil them and I make them very happy to work with me, but then it makes me very excited to work. And it makes it that whenever there's a problem or something's going on, they are gonna go all the way in to fix it because they are so happy to work with me and they want to make sure I'm happy as well. So it's not a dynamic of I have employees, they have something to do and that's it. Like we actually built a family in my business, which
they have a buy-in to they have a personal investment that the business does well. That is awesome.
Yeah, that's leadership for me, feminine leadership. I want to build them into leaders because I truly believe I don't need workers. I need leaders. I need people that are going to take initiative. I need people that are invested. They have skin in the game in my business. They feel like we're building this together, not just they're working for me and then they get the paycheck. Because they don't care about me and my business if that's the only thing they work for is their paycheck. There has to be more substance than this and more experience and a better reason. So that's something that's really will help me. And the third thing would be to, like I said, to turn everything that I built into digital assets and to have a membership. So because of all these income streams, I make over, like every month, I'm gonna make at least $30,000 just coming from my courses and my membership. I don't need to work, and I already make like high six figures per year. And everything else that I do, because I launch a course every month, I launch an offer every month, then it's all extra money. So it makes it really fun for me that I can take it easy if I want, or I can go all in and have a really, really, really juicy month. So I get to choose which direction I go, depending on my energy, depending on my plans, on my traveling, and all these things. So these are three things that really, really help me.
Those are really, really good. Really good. Before we get the amazing gift that Em is so generously sharing with all of the listeners and people watching on YouTube, tell everyone about the services that you provide, because I have a sneaking suspicion that people are curious about what type of services you offer.
So I do mentoring. I mostly do mastermind and membership when it comes to life things. I also accept here and there private clients. But what is amazing about my business is I decided to build a course on every topic that I'm very passionate about. So whether it's funnels, whether it's memberships, whether it's online courses, whether it's emotional intelligence, leadership, confidence, I have a course for everything. And every year I relaunch the course live, or I have it available for self-study. So basically, when you come in my world, you can shop and choose what is the right thing for you right now. And there's always something available.
That is really cool, because like you said, we're always on a different timeline in terms of where we're investing in what we're learning and what we need at the moment right now. And it sounds like you have literally something for everyone at any time. And it sounds like you rotate every year or so, updating what you
Yeah.
already have and then doing it live, because there's that power in live education I firmly
Yeah.
believe in. But then it's available for everyone as they want it to, like you said, self-serve. That
Yeah.
is awesome. Well, Em is sharing with us a gift of 5 days to 5K. So tell everyone a little bit about what that is.
So this is a free course. There's 5 modules. And if you like this conversation, that's probably going to be really juicy for you. So basically 5 days to 5K is a cash injection course. So I teach you how to create a cash injection offer that's going to create at least 5K immediately. And it worked. It's been proven hundreds of times. People have tried it and it worked. And I also teach all kinds of pieces that are making it work better. So whether it's the feminine and masculine energy aspect, business energetics, I teach content, I teach promotion, I teach everything that's needed to know in order to make it work and make it work in an aligned way. And it's completely free. So I'm pretty sure your listener is gonna like it.
I love it. I will definitely be going and doing it myself. Thank you so much for your valuable advice and also for your time today, because I know it's very hard when we run big businesses to be able to be available for these types of things. What is the best way? I'm going to have all your information that you've given to me for our YouTube watchers or our podcast listeners, but what is the best way to get into contact with you in case anyone wants to like literally take this conversation a step further?
So I would say Instagram, m.ducharme is really the best way to reach out to me. That's I don't manage all my social media. I don't manage my Pinterest, my team does, but I manage my Instagram because that's really something that I enjoy doing. So you get me in the inbox. So that's probably the best way to do it.
Perfect. All right. So I always like to end by saying, we've gotten some really valuable advice from M today on this call. And usually when you listen to a podcast, you're going to get one or two things that really resonate with you. And I just encourage you to go and put it on your calendar right now to take action on those one or two things. Where we tend to fail is that we get this education, we think, oh, that's a great idea, and then we've forgotten about it by the next week. So definitely take some time to mark some calendar time to be able to take action on some of these things, even if it means to enjoy her free gift or to reach out and actually start working with her one-on-one. Thank you so much, Em, for your time today, and I hope you all have a good day.
Thank
Bye.
you.